video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Teresa Pearson, Mark the Infinitely Tired, Chris Persia, the Wrench of Wrenches is here. Purple Valkyrie, good morning, Purple Valkyrie. Go 13, a.k.a. Brandon the Infinite Wolf. Good morning, Storta Poopus Cuber. Good morning, Max. Hi, Max. How are you doing? Merkel, Emperor of Corruption. Hello there. Good morning. Good morning, Adega Outlaw. Good morning, Psychodorf 9. Good morning to Mary's Game Room. Good morning, Keely Chow. Roll Tide, Keely. Roll Tide. Pat S. Good morning. Arwen Avalon, good morning. Big good morning to Lord Bob. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are having a great Thursday. What a Wednesday night we had playing the official sport of Valhalla, beach volleyball. Dave G Sound and Project Storytime. Good morning, Zach 7. Good morning, Zax. I hope you all are having a great Thursday morning. But today we have a very special guest from Mornings of Mischief. Good morning, brightest day. We have John Trent from Bounding into Comics. Hello, sir.
Good morning. How's it going?
It is going great, man. Welcome to Mornings of Mischief. You are like an icon around here, brother. You are, man. And many times we're going to read one from Bounding into Comics. John F Trent, you're the man, brother. You're the man. We love your articles around here, and it is a honor and a pleasure to have you here this morning.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Appreciate that. I did have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Was the chant from 300?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I thought I recognized that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Spartans. What is your profession? Yeah. We love the Spartans around here. We even got a new AI, Sparta, that just joined up yesterday. New AI to help Loki with all the work behind the scenes.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's so cool. I love that. I love that chant.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought your intro was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No one ever comments about the intros.
You even had the test footage where he was testing as Thor.
Yes, yeah.
So cool too.
That was actually from Dark World. That is a cut scene where he's like dreaming that Asgard has welcomed him back as a hero, and he has Thor's hammer, and they're all like worshiping him like he's the new ruler of Asgard.
Oh, so it's like when he's in prison?
Yeah, when he's in
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a little illusion he was playing out in his own fantasy world when he's in prison, where he's like the hero of Asgard and welcome back as the new, he's got Mjolnir, and yeah, so
that's awesome.
I found that. God, I found that like 5 years ago, and I was like, holy crap, I've got to use that one day in a video. And I was messing around with my intros. I was like, I've got that footage. I might as well use it. Surprised they don't flag me for that, but they never have. They've never flagged
Yeah,
me.
if you keep it below 4 seconds, it usually is pretty. Or I think Culture Casinos is like 7 seconds. So
Yeah, that's my thing. Usually it's like 6 to 8 seconds.
Yeah, I've gotten up to like I've had stuff in there for like that's less than 30, and I've gotten away with it. But then sometimes if it's like 25, they'll flag it. It just, I don't know, it just depends on who's doing the flagging. So
yeah, CBS, Disney, and Warner Brothers are usually the big three that are like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I remember I was doing a reaction video to a CBR article about 300, and I wanted to like include this, like the clip where you have the conversation between Leonidas and the Persian messenger, because it like basically just destroyed their like that like piece of the movie, like just destroyed their entire argument. And I had to like cut it. I had to cut it up a lot because they didn't let me keep that because it was like a minute and a half or whatever, and I couldn't use it even though I was like doing a critique, and I wasn't like, it was like more like a review, but they still were like, nah, we're gonna claim it. So
you're a fan of 300?
Oh yeah, I like 300. I like Snyder's 300.
I
like Snyder's Watchmen too. When he uses the comic book stuff, it's usually when he uses when he's like doing a direct adaptation, his stuff is pretty solid.
Yes, I completely agree. When I saw it was the wolf scene and the cliff scene, I was like, because I saw that in theaters, I was like, man, this is just like it's like just like the novel. It's just like the graphic novel.
Yeah, no, the wolf scene is awesome. And then the cliff scene you're talking about where they're pushing the Persians off the cliff and you get that wide shot. Yeah. No, yeah, that's awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got that on 4K the other day. I haven't even watched it yet in 4K, but I just got that in 4K the other day. I wish I'd had it when we just did a video watch party of that, and I wish I'd had it then.
Oh yeah. That would have been awesome. But yeah, no, I'm a huge 300 fan. Gotta build that wall.
Yeah, gotta build that wall. But I agree, when Zack Snyder, Watchmen and 300, those are my two favorite movies he ever made. And I liked the uncut version of Batman versus Superman. I'm one of the weird people that actually liked that. I thought Justice League was okay. His cut of Justice League, I thought it was okay. It was long. It was worth waiting for, but
I'll be honest,
it's long.
I haven't watched it.
It's long.
His comments when he showed up on Geeks and Gamers like completely turned me off.
Yeah.
So and honestly, it turned me off because I was really excited to watch Godzilla versus Kong, and I just like it just completely turned me off of even getting HBO like subbing to HBO Max to watch it. So I haven't even watched Godzilla versus Kong, and I obviously haven't watched because I did have HBO Max with Wonder Woman 1984 because I saw that. And then obviously I unsubbed because there was nothing there that I needed to watch.
What a waste! What a waste! 84,
oh yeah, that
man,
movie was terrible. They were signaling it too. Like, I mean, they were telling you that it was going to be bad in all the press leading up to it. I don't think they thought that, but everything that they were saying, it was pretty obvious that they were giving us all of the code words that like this is not going to be good.
Yeah.
So
I think the only thing I liked about that movie was that opening scene in Themyscira when she's a kid. Yeah. And then that was it. I thought that was a great part of the movie, and then nothing after that. It was just like, wow.
That scene was really cool. I would argue that why they stop her, I didn't like. I thought that explanation was just trash. Because like I thought she was kind of being like pretty creative to like get back on the course and get to the front, and then they kind of took that victory away from her, despite because she missed the one flame or whatever. Yep. So they should have let her finish it, and then they DQ her like a normal sporting event.
I agree. They should have let her. She should have let her throw the spear and then give her like second place or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then teach her the lesson that you can't cut corners, whatever. And like that would have been pretty. I thought that would have been better. But yeah, no. Overall, that was probably the best part of that movie. Everything else was no good.
Especially the cats. The how they stole we'll just take the technology from cats because that worked out so well.
Yeah, it was. Oh, with Cheetah. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, it was. Yeah, the Cheetah stuff was pretty bad. How she got her powers was stupid as well. Just stick with the comic book origin on that stuff. Like finding the totem in the jungles, like that actually like makes sense. Not like wishing to be Wonder Woman.
No, and even if like she had give her some claws, give her some teeth, make her have almost like a mane, but keep her human form. Keep her human form, give her some longer hair like a mane, some claws and some teeth, and just make her look mean. And it would have been, I would have been totally sold on that.
Yeah, so like I mean, obviously she's called Cheetah, but more like a lion version of like Catwoman. Yeah, I could see that.
Or like Chitara off of Thundercats back in the day. Yeah.
That like now that you say that makes perfect sense. With getting some inspiration from the Thundercats for sure. But no, I mean the ending was I hated the ending, especially like he was literally just like owning her. And then somehow she like gets the lasso on him and realizes that he's like a giant F up and he's like
toxic male.
It's like, no, this guy had been he knew what he was doing. Like he didn't care. Like especially they try to make him like say that he cared about his kid. And it's like, no, you show throughout the movie he doesn't care about his kid. He's like pawning his kid off to other people like multiple times throughout the movie. Like didn't want to have anything to do with his kid. So that was just, it didn't make sense. Most of that movie didn't make sense.
Well, yeah, the lasso doesn't make you care. All the lasso does is make you be honest.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yeah. And so they were trying to say that because he was being honest, then he started like to care or whatever, which, I mean, I don't even think he was being honest there because he didn't like his kid. They showed us that multiple times.
Golago 13, aka Brandon, the Imp with $2 super chat says Wonder Woman 84 verdict. It sucks. Sentence death. Skull. Thank you so much, Golago 13.
Yeah.
Thank you.
100%. Kill it with fire. Burn it with fire.
Yeah, burn it with fire. What got you into doing what you do?
So you mean like why I founded the website? Answer that question. So I founded the website just because I wanted to review comics in my free time, and it was just basically a comic book review site. And then I kind of started really like noticing a lot of things happening within the comic book industry that were just like, what is going on here? People like getting upset about a Killing Joke homage on a Batgirl variant cover. People getting upset about the Spider-Woman cover, and it all seemed like absurd, like just didn't make sense. Because if you look at all, like people have variant covers all the time. Spider-Man is seen in that pose all the time. So all that stuff was just crazy. So we started doing more articles and commentary on what was happening in the comic book industry. And then I eventually got the opportunity to sell the website so I could work on it full time instead of just doing it in my free time. And so I took that opportunity and now I was able to turn it into more of what it is today, where it's a lot more commentary, a lot more articles, news stuff. So that's kind of how all that evolved. And then obviously it just started really ramping up our website or our YouTube production probably like in November, I think is where I really like started dedicating almost a video a day during the week to that as well. So having that aspect. So that's kind of where I come from. That's how I kind of started that. And then I just used to love, I mean, I wouldn't describe myself as like a hardcore like comic book reader. I was probably a couple years ago when I like from like 2015 to I would say 2017. I have like tons of comics that I own and I've read all of them. But I mean, I would say my entrance into that was more like watching a lot of the animated stuff, Batman the Animated Series when I was a child.
Yes.
X-Men, loved X-Men.
Yes.
I was never a big I was never a big Spider-Man fan. I don't know. Spider-Man was just not. I didn't get into Spider-Man. I don't know. I always thought he was a little whiny to me. I liked Thundercats. I liked He-Man. Probably I watched a lot of Boomerang, honestly.
Yes.
When I was a kid, so like Wacky Racers. I watched a lot of that old stuff.
Yogi Bear.
Good one, Yogi.
Yeah, Yogi Bear. Herculoids. I love the Herculoids. I thought that was fantastic stuff. I don't know, with the family. A bird, like the original Birdman.
Yes.
You know, and the original Space Ghost. So like I remember Cartoon Network came out with like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and then they had the Harvey Birdman show, and I was just like, what is this stuff? This isn't like Birdman and Space Ghost. Why is he sitting at a desk? He's supposed to be out fighting like crazy alien creatures. So those were like the superhero stuff that I really like grew up with. Was a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff on Boomerang on TV. So I really like, and then like obviously I watched Toonami block with like Dragon Ball Z, and then they had Beast Wars and stuff like that. So that's a lot of the stuff that I watched as a kid that I really enjoyed. And then obviously I was watching all the movies that came out with Iron Man and Batman, and I watched all that stuff as well. So X-Men, I love the original X-Men movies.
Yes.
Yeah, Thundar the Barbarian.
What did you since you brought up X-Men, what did you think about that last original, that third movie?
The Phoenix one?
The Phoenix one.
Go back to that $2 super chat.
Burn it with fire.
Yeah, kill it. Yeah.
Man, you know that was like 5 years after that I was standing in line to get, I think it was like Grand Theft Auto 4 at GameStop. I was standing in line at midnight, and someone was like, no, Professor X didn't die. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Professor X didn't die. Professor X died. No, if you watch past at the end of the credits, he's like, Moira. And I was like, what? No.
Yeah, he's transferred his consciousness to a person who's like brain dead.
Yeah. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea there was an extra at in the end credit scene, because nobody did that shit back then. Barely anybody did that. That was like one of those things. It was like finding out that Skeletor was still alive at the end of the He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren. You're like, no, yeah. He comes out of the lobby and he's like, I'll be back, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually love those movies. Like, I love the First Class stuff. I thought all that stuff I really like First Class. I think that might be the best. It's hard. I go back and forth because X2 is really, really good. And that's like, and honestly, that's because it like is almost a direct adaptation of God Loves Man Kills, which is a fantastic storyline by Chris Claremont. Obviously they changed some things up. And then I thought that was like a really good adaptation of God Loves Man Kills, and having Stryker, instead of being the leader of like the Purifiers, he's like the government spook. And I thought that worked really well.
The head of the Weapon X program. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, head of Weapon X. But so I thought I like those movies a lot. X2 and First Class are fantastic. The first X-Men is really good as well. Days of Future Past is up there, but then like you have X3, and then you have Phoenix, and then you have like Wolverine Origins. But I like the Wolverine too. I think the Wolverine is an underrated X-Men film. I know some people have issues with like Silver Samurai, and then obviously the stuff with Viper is a little iffy. Probably probably could have done that with someone else. But I thought that story was really well done in the Wolverine as well. And then obviously Logan. I enjoy Logan.
Actually, Pat S., I was not the oldest person standing in line at midnight at GameStop. I was not the only. There was a guy that was older than me that was standing in line at GameStop.
I've never. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Go. No. Go ahead.
I've never had to stand in line at a GameStop. I did go to a Best Buy for a midnight release that had a better deal. I think it was for Skyrim. but it wasn't. There was no line. It wasn't a line. It was just like go and get it and go back home and stick it in and play.
There was a guy that literally they got knifed that night waiting because it was like a $200 limited edition GameStop only. You got like a lockbox.
Okay, wow.
You got this edition, you got a lockbox, and some guy in Dallas, it wasn't at the GameStop I was at. I was at GameStop in Saginaw, Texas, but that's like outside of Dallas. But there was a guy in Dallas that got shanked trying to get to his car after he got his $200 edition of Grand
They're trying to steal it.
Yeah, they stole it. Well, they did steal it. They knifed him and stole it from him.
Well, I guess he had the real experience of what Grand Theft Auto is like.
Yeah.
They jack his car too and like toss him out. He's in the car. They open the door and throw him out.
Get out, Buster! It's my car now. There were only two midnight releases that were ever like that. It was Grand Theft Auto 4 and it was Halo 2 or Halo 3. I can't remember which one. It was one of the Halo games that I was like, God, it like the line went around the building. And
I do remember the GTA lines at GameStop. I remember that. Because I think I stopped at one because there was like another release that day and I was trying to get something else and I saw people in line. I was like, what are you people in the line for? And they're like, GTA. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I'll wait. I'm sure they have more. I'm not in that big of a rush to get it.
So what would you say your favorite comic book series is?
Oh gosh. I don't know. It probably goes back and forth. I mean, right now, I wouldn't even say I probably don't have a favorite comic book series, but I really like. I'm reading more manga now. And my two favorites are probably My Hero Academia and Goblin Slayer, that I'm reading. I did really like. There's a new one that just came out by the Suyashida who did Tokyo Ghoul. It's called Chojin X, and I read the first chapter, which is like 80 pages. And that was I really enjoyed that. It looks promising. So that was a lot of fun, and it's kind of more superhero-y than anything. So I enjoyed that as well. I don't know. I'd have to look back here to see I got it right here. I think that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic is probably one of the best comics ever made. That story is absolutely fantastic. There's a reason why they've adapted it so often. Because it is so well done. But yeah, I really love that first one shot of TMNT. I got a lot of I was actually gifted this in black and white of all the Turtles stuff.
It's beautiful. I love the line art. Whenever I see anything line art wise, I'm like, I love it.
What else do I got here? Rick Remender was doing a series that I really enjoyed at Image. What was it called? It was about like the legacy of his so this guy was kind of burdened by the legacy of his dad, and then because his dad, it seemed like his dad was very limiting to him. Why he wouldn't compromise with this guy that everyone else compromised with, and he was like the only, and they all have kind of like gifts or whatever, like a superpower, and I was really enjoying that as well. And that was probably the most recent comic book series that I was reading that I really enjoyed. I can't remember what it was called, but I thought that was like really well done. And you saw he resented his dad in the beginning, but as he actually began fighting against this guy who'd been like making all these compromises, he realized that his dad was in the right. So I really enjoyed that one. I don't remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up here.
Board nipples with a board nipples with a $2 Canadian super check. My pecs are collector's items. Stood in line 3 hours. Thank you so much, board nipples, for that $2 super chat. Skull, brother.
It was it's called 7 to Eternity, and I really enjoyed that series. It's really good.
The other day I was in Books A Million, and I'm going through manga, and I probably got like $200 worth of manga. And then I've got I told myself I'm not buying anything mainstream, nothing from DC, nothing from Marvel. I'm not doing it. But they had a Road to Metal with this beautiful holographic color. It was DC's Road to Metal from the DC Metal line, and the
Okay.
art was so kick ass. I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend the 19.99. So I'm getting like 1/10, is that, and then I'm getting all this manga. But the art in that book and the story was good. It was good enough to carry me through the whole thing, and there wasn't any damn. Oh well, that like the
Oh, it looks like that's Andy Kubert. So yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I don't know. The metal stuff was weird. I remember there was they had some dark Hawkman god and stuff.
Yes.
I was like, what's going on? It was hard for me to figure out what was happening. I'll be honest. I did not. I mean, that was probably the last stuff I read over at DC, and I was confused. I was just bewildered by what was happening. I'll be honest. And maybe that's on me for not understanding, but I was just like, what is going on?
It was all to do with the nth metal. All the greatest superheroes have this nth metal weapon, and the nth metal kept the darkness at bay. And it was
but Hawk, and then Hawk, I guess he was corrupted by Barbados at some, I don't know, they were in some kind of cave or something where they took a teleportation to some, I don't know, some other universe, I guess. I don't know. It was really confusing. I was struggling to figure.
But it looked good,
and
it looked
good.
They respected the characters, and you had a couple of cool scenes with Wonder Woman, how she's on this electric harpsichord. You've got Superman on this death metal guitar, all metaled out, and you've got Batman in the black metal armor with a Grim Reaper scythe. I was like, at least it looks good. It looks good. Why can't you guys make more look good shit?
Yeah.
We talk on the comic book roundtable. We have our comic book roundtable on Tuesday nights. Me and Clobber and Times, Pat, Steven, Heirs of Chaos, and 24/7 Fusion. And we want things that look good. We want things with good stories. If the comic book industry got its ass in gear and just gave us stuff that looked good and with a good story that wasn't centered around pandering or politics or bullshit, we would gladly buy more comics constantly. I mean, I was just at a comic shop the other day, and I probably spent $100 on older things that had signatures on it. Things from when I was a teenager. I'm not going to buy anything recent. And you support your local comic shop. I'm trying to help, but I won't buy anything new. I won't buy anything mainstream. It's got to be stuff from the 90s. Or the 80s, something older that's still in good condition. I will try and do my part for comics, but I just can't support it. Even the new shit coming out.
Oh yeah, I think that's across the board. You've seen that. I mean, you can't really track Comic-Con numbers anymore because DC doesn't ship with Diamond. They got Lunar Comics or something. What are they called here now? I think it's Lunar something. As their distributor now. Marvel's moving away from Diamond as well. They're going to do with I forget, Random House, I think Penguin. I think they switched over. They're going to be switching over to that. So Diamond is basically just carrying Image, Dark Horse, and Titan. So they got I mean, you can't even track the sales numbers, but what we can track is the NPD graphic novel sales. And if you look at that, there are no Western comics in the top 20, so it's all manga.
It's all manga, and you got to wonder with some companies. I just read something the other day that was talking about Sony only. Okay, so 99% of game sales in Japan are Nintendo now. That was yours. Okay,
I think so, yeah. It was yesterday. Yeah, I wrote that one, and
that's insane. That's insane. Yeah. Sony was the flagship in Japan.
Yeah, I remember PS3. You had to get I'm always been a Sony guy. I have a PlayStation 4, but I had PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. And I stuck with Sony because you could get all the Japanese games, like because I like all the RPGs and like the strategy RPGs, and I just like that stuff. And a lot of like the Western stuff, it's a lot of shooters. And I'm not a first person shooter. That's just not my cup of tea. But so I always like got Sony because I could you could get the RPGs, and now it's just like I can get that now you get it on the Switch. So that's where all the Japanese stuff is now. It's all on the Switch. So I mean, I have both. I've got a Switch, but if I play any of my RPGs, I'm playing it on my Switch. So that's what I'm doing now. So that it doesn't really surprise me. But that's what it is. I mean, you can tell that they moved their headquarters to America. They censor Japanese games heavily. They shut down like Japan studios just last month or February. It was a couple months ago. I mean, everything looks like they're moving away from the Japanese audience and instead trying to focus on a global audience, which is usually like China. So.
Yeah, that's usually the trigger word right there. What you said is the global audience. And we mentioned volleyball being the sport of Valhalla. Last night we were playing Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 3 on the PS5. And the only I had to import that. I had to import it from Japan because they will not sell it in the United States. They would not bring the game to the United States.
That's ridiculous.
The first two came out on Xbox. Yeah, they have The Last of Us 2. They have like Abby Smash.
Hardcore like sex scene as well.
Yep. They have Abby Smash, but yeah, they won't come out with a beach volleyball game. Echo Base Network with a $4.99 super chat. Welcome, Echo Base. John, are you a Final Fantasy VII Remake fan? I just got here. If you already talked about it, he did not. If so, are you playing the DLC next week if you have a PS5?
Yeah, so no, I'm not going to be playing the DLC because I'm not going to get a PlayStation 5 because there's no need to get it. I'm not going to get it just for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I'm very content with my PlayStation 4 right now. But I did play Final Fantasy VII Remake. As with most games I play now, I don't finish them. I used to finish all the games that I played, but life gets in the way now. So
isn't that
it's really get in the way? But it just I have other things that are happening. But yeah, no, I liked Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got to I'm in the Wall Market area, so with all the dresses and stuff, and I think I'm just about wrapping up the Wall Market area, so I think I'm like halfway through, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I like the game mechanics. I thought it was it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when I was playing it.
It should be coming out on PC soon too. As far as I know, that's like 3 or 4 months away, the PC release.
Yeah, because the exclusivity on PlayStation is over.
Yep.
Now I believe, but it'll be. I don't know if it's going to be coming out on Switch anytime soon because that's a huge. Like it had like 2 discs, and trying to get that on a little Switch cartridge might be a little tough. Yeah.
And Mags, I grew up on the Final Fantasy. So did I. NES through PS2. I still occasionally play the old games. I love playing through 4. I absolutely love playing through 4. That was the first one I played. It was 2 in the US, but it was 4 in Japan. But I hated. I don't like the remake they did of that. But I love playing. I think it was the one on the PS handheld. The PSP. There was like a definitive version on the PSP that had all the stuff from the Game Boy Advanced version, plus it had, instead of the crappy MIDI sounds, it actually had MP3 music, MP3 sounds, and it's beautiful. If you love sprite games, that's the one you want, is the PSP version of 4.
Yeah, so my first introduction to Final Fantasy was my parents didn't let me have a console, but I had like a Game Boy and I bought my own PC. So I didn't have a console like growing up until I got into college. So my first Final Fantasy was 12, Ivalice, and I love that game. I loved Ivalice. I know there's some people that didn't like the combat system, but I thought it was kind of unique with the gambit system and everything. And I just love the world of Evil. So I thought that was just such a cool world, with airships and I don't know. I just really like the world of Evilise. And then they did the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance for Game Boy Advance.
Yes.
Which was great. And I love that. I love the SRPG stuff. And then I went and got like the Final Fantasy Tactics because you could get on the PlayStation Store. Got that, which I'm also upset with Sony about that too. So like your stuff that you purchased on previous consoles through the PlayStation Store doesn't carry over. So that's a little frustrating to me.
Well, everything from 4 and
to 5.
To 5 carries over. But like I had Final Fantasy 7 on PS3, I had Final Fantasy 8 on PS3, I had Ring of Red was a game that like nobody ever heard of. Ring of Red and Xenogears, none of that carried over to the PS4. Nothing you bought in the PS3 store carried over. I was seriously pissed about that.
And then I also had I had this game called Record of Agaris War, which is super Japanese game, but it was an SRPG and it had some unique stuff. And like that game was really cool because you advanced through like generations of characters, and like what you did in the first, when you walk through the first map in the story, you like would have like your protagonist character, and there would be like some women, and you would like pick who you would pick which woman he's gonna like marry and stuff, and then they would have like an heir, and the heir would be like the protagonist for the next map. And I liked it because it was like quite difficult. I see that Timon Flip says that Tactics. Yeah, I mean, compared to the original Final Fantasy Tactics Advance was I would say was a downgrade. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it sucked, but it definitely wasn't on par with the original Final Fantasy Tactics. But I still found it enjoyable when I played it. It just wasn't as good.
And you know, that's one of the things I love about this community. Nobody I know had ever heard of Xenogears. And then, you know, I start getting into this community, and you know, you start talking to everybody, you start talking about games like we're doing now, and people say Xenogears, and I'm like, holy shit, people do know what Xenogears is. And I it's one of my favorite games of all time, except for that last disc. I hated what they did in that last act where they just fast forward through everything and you don't get to play anything. It's just like 1 hour long story you have to sit through and watch.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I haven't. So it looks like it's an original PlayStation game. So like I said, I didn't play any of the. Like I had to go back and find that stuff, and I haven't seen Xenogears, but it looks like something I would play. Looks fun.
I got slammed by my father because I was working when I was younger. I was working for my mom. She had her own business, and I remember, I know I'm going to get a PlayStation. And like, well, are you going to go spend $300 for some game system? And I'm like, yes, I am. I'm going to Electronics Boutique in the mall, and I'm getting a PlayStation. You ain't no guy letting you spend your money on that. And I went and did it anyway.
EB Games. I remember EB Games.
So it was one of those things that like I had to go and spend my own money. I had to go and spend my own money to get one and buy my own games. And he was so pissed.
That's what I was. I did the same thing with my PC. So I refereed soccer when I started when I was 12, and I made enough money so I could buy my PC. And then I played the game that I mainly I played a bunch of like Age of Empires 2. Loved that game. And then they had the Age of Mythology, so I started playing Age of Mythology, and that was really good as well. But what I mainly played was I played Dark Age of Camelot, which was an early MMO, kind of just after like EverQuest and Asheron's Call. It was like right around there. And the unique aspect of Dark Age of Camelot is you had the 3 realms, and the end game wasn't like more PvE stuff. It was like go sack the other person's like castles. And you'd have like these epic, like insane 100v100 fights, and like your computer would just like die because couldn't handle it at the time.
Yeah,
like, no one could handle that stuff.
There was like a kingdom game. I can't remember the name of it, but it had Robin Hood in it. It was like the Search for the Crown or something, and that was the first Castle Siege game I ever played. and you had to like knock down a wall with a trebuchet, and then you'd have your guys storming the castle, and you had 3 or 4 guys, and they'd count your army. So if you had like 50 guys or whatever, but the whole point of the game was, if anybody remembers this, please tell me in chat, because I do not remember the name of this game. The whole point of it was to get enough kingdoms to where Robin Hood would come to you and be like, I've had the crown of the king, the dead king, the whole time. I hid it in Sherwood Forest. You have taken the land, so here's the crown. You're the new king. And it was a weird niche game, but it was like one of the very first. You take territory, and once you've got enough territory, you take over. But you could do like jousting. You could call a tournament for all the knights and the kingdoms, and it was a really weird game. But that was one of the first PC games.
Sounds
I
fun
ran.
though. I played this like, so my first game that I ever played on a PC was like Caesar 4, and I played it in middle school. It was actually, the school had it, and it was like a city building management game, so like similar to The Sims, but you're in like Rome. And then I found a game that they made later called Zeus Master of Olympus, and I love that game because you just like have to build your city, like make sure like the people have like clean roads, and they're getting their food, and like the granary is like close to the agora, and like setting all that stuff up. And I had a blast playing that. And then it also had like a combat. It had a combat part to it, which a lot of the city builder games didn't have that. But it wasn't like too advanced. It's just like you had to like have elite homes to have people like become hoplites to like defend the town when like an invading army came, or like you could use them to also attack mythological creatures that would like randomly show up, like Medusa or like Talos and stuff like that, and the gods would like curse you. So
Mark the Infinitely Tired got it. It was Defender of the Crown. Oh, yes, Defender of the Crown. Thank you, Mark. That was I can't believe you remembered the name of that game. I'm speechless here. An echo based Oregon Trail. Yeah, you want to go back to Apple II, and yeah.
So Oregon Trail might have been my first. I'm just thinking like I don't know. I don't like Oregon Trail. I guess it's a PC game. I don't know. I guess I'm considering like going out, and I don't know. For me, like Caesar was like a real game. Like Oregon Trail was like something you played in computer lab, where like the Caesar 4 game was like a legit, like it was a totally different experience than Oregon Trail. But yeah, I played Oregon Trail as well.
You say computer lab, and I guarantee you, what's computer lab today? What's computer lab? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel, do they not have? I don't know. Do they not have computer labs?
I have no idea
anymore?
If they still.
I would think they would be. Labs. I would feel like they would have even more. Like that would be even more of a thing with computer lab, because you'd want to like start teaching kids how to code and stuff.
Yeah, I know. One of my kids took internet design a couple of years ago, but I don't think they called it computer lab.
No, they might. Maybe they don't call it. That's not what those rooms are called anymore. Those classes are called. Yeah, I mean, I remember it used to be like. So I went to a Catholic school, K through 8, and I think my first experience with a computer lab might have been in like 4th grade, and it was literally in like this tiny, like it was not a lab. It was just in like a after they moved it, they turned that into like an equipment room, like a really tiny like equipment room. It was more like a closet. It was just like a big closet. That was where our like original computer lab was, and then they moved it out into a trailer when they were building. They started building like an advanced thing. Okay, it's called a STEM lab now. Okay, I mean it's.
I had no idea. STEM lab. At least it's still got lab in it.
Yeah.
What do you remember? I remember when my dad brought home an IBM Head Start. That was our first like home computer. Was an IBM Head Start. It would be years before we got a Compaq, but he brought home this IBM Head Start for work, and I think I was like 7. I might have been 7, and he could not get his word processor to work. He could not get the disk to load. And I was just like, look, and I put the disk in and had it boot up through the disk. How did you do that? I was like, you just do this.
With the floppy disk, right?
Yeah, with the floppies, the big fat ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just I'm going to age myself here because I think you're older than me. But I was right when they were like converting from floppies to CDs, and but I do remember my dad had like he brought this like old computer home. I don't even know what it was, but it ran on like MS DOS. So but there was a Monopoly game on there, so I play that Monopoly game too.
Yes.
Like really old school, and then we finally got I feel like everyone had one of these like in the early 2000s. Got like a gateway, so everyone had the gateway. I feel like I felt like everyone had a gateway at that time because they even had the gateway stores and stuff.
Yep.
So we got a gateway, and then you would get like there was like this Chex Quest game. You get all the games in your like cereal boxes, like Life and Monopoly, and Chex Quest was like I actually like that. As like I said, I don't usually play shooters, but Chex Quest was something I did play.
You'd get the AOL hard floppies in the mail.
Yeah,
like
AOL.
Attached to a flyer.
Yeah.
Mexican Iron Man with the $9.99 super chat says, fantastic show. Huge fan of John's work, and his work has made our fandom such a better place. We're all grateful for all you do. And Loki, thanks for today's show. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man, and Skull, brother.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
Chex Quest. Brightest Day is saying wasn't that basically? Yeah, Chex Quest was like a ripoff of Doom. Yeah.
Was it one of those ripoffs of Doom that I just never? I remember Heretic and a couple of other ones. Heretic and man.
Yeah, you basically played like a giant Chex Man, like the cereal, and you had like a gun and you just ran around and like ran through levels and just was like shooting aliens. So, but yeah, it was basically Doom.
Chex Doom. I that's something new. Learn something new every day. I had no idea they had like a Chex Mix version of Doom.
Yeah, you got it in your cereal box. It like came out of the cereal box.
I remember the Barney thing where you could turn all the demons in Doom into Barney, and every time you shot one, it was like, I love you. Bastards.
Oh, that's funny.
Doom, Hexen, and Heretic, yes. AOL, the largest distributor of blank discs. Yeah, because you could just blank them out and turn them into whatever you wanted. You just overwrite them. I don't remember how many of those we had in the disc box we had. Shareware, yes. Yes, there were conventions. You want to talk about you want to go old school? There were shareware conventions where groups and groups of tech nerds would get together and share all the shareware they had. So you'd get copies and copies and copies and just have this giant convention where you could go in and get these shareware discs. And Timon Flip with a $5 super chat. First PC was an MSX, no floppy disk. We used cassette tapes to run the programs. I remember MSX. Absolutely. People would solder AOL disk tins together and make tables. Really? I had no idea Trinoculus P.
Wow.
I always loved the LucasArts Dark Forces. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you'd sit there and spend like an hour installing 4 or 5 hard disks to play a game.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And Go 13 Doom is still one of the largest modded game scenes. Not bad. No, it's not bad at all. What would you say would be like? I know you were talking about like JRPGs, and what would be your favorite if you had to pick one, like an all-time favorite?
My favorite like Japanese role-playing game.
Yeah, from my like Final Fantasy series or
12.
something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Final Fantasy 12.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Final Fantasy 12 a lot. I played that game. I played that game so much. I got the remastered version too. um,
Oh, the one that
I
came out like last year or the year before? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 years ago. So I have that. I really like 12. Um, I would probably like. I really like Golden Sun as well from Game Boy Advance. I think that was really good. I don't know if you played that one, but
Yes.
very JRPG. And then Pokemon. I like all the Pokemon games too.
I could never get into those. I don't know what happened. I bet Loki could never get into Pokemon. It was Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy. I was a huge Square Soft fan.
Yeah.
Square Enix, not so much. Some of their games are good, but Square Soft, man, I was like everything they came out with. I even had a copy of Chrono Trigger from Japan.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you had to on the Super Nintendos, there were these little blocks where you inserted the cartridge that like went into the cartridge. You had to like file down those blocks and get rid of those blocks to get a Super Famicom game to go into the reader for the Super Nintendo. So you had to like get rid of these little nubs that were in the bottom of the Super Nintendo.
Okay, wow. That's so crazy. Wow. Another one like Ogre Battle 64. So like I said, I didn't have a console, so I didn't play that game till college on a emulator. But that game is awesome. I loved Ogre Battle 64. Unique game. I haven't seen anything like it. I'm surprised there aren't mobile games that are similar to it. But that was a lot of fun. I really like that.
And Captain Spire with $10. Here we go. Wing Commander was the PC game that made me become an expert on 386 PC technology when I got 8 megabytes of RAM for $150. The Sound Blaster 16, spending my 6 months allowance. Oh, Loki, the memories. Yes. I remember when I got a Voodoo FX to play the Blade Runner games. That was the first time I ever took a part from a PC out of my computer and replaced it with another part. It was absolutely insane. And thank you so very much, Captain Spire, for that $10 super chat. You guys keep the fires burning bright. Thank you all for all the super chats today, and we're going to throw you out a skull for you, Captain Spire, and for everyone that has sent in a super chat. Skull!
A dollar? I've never seen a dollar. Nobody's got a dollar. Let us see the dollar. There it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
Thank you. Come back and see. What the hell?
That was funny.
A way of saying thank you here at Mornings of Mischief for the super chats. Go 13, holy cow, voodoo cards. Yeah, I when I did that, I went back and I got another one. Nobody seems to remember anymore that slide technology, having two video cards working in tandem, started back with the voodoo technology. You could actually take a voodoo FX card and put another one on top, and one card would handle the horizontal lines of the game, and the other card would handle the vertical lines of the game.
Yeah, I think I had two in mine. I'll be honest, I'm not the most tech savvy of that stuff, but I remember having two graphics cards in the PC that I bought.
Well, back then it was simple. You could just you pulled your old one out and you put a new one in. All you had to do is like unscrew one screw, and you could replace it.
Right? Yeah, I remember doing that. Yeah, I do remember that because I would go and like get an upgrade at Best Buy or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to, what was it, Office Depot back then. That was the only place that had computer parts around me, was this Office Depot. And Captain Spire with the $5 super chat. I had a hard time getting into comics because all the game adaptations were lame, like the X-Men PC game to rescue Professor X from arcade. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
And thank you, Captain Spire, for that $5 super chat, brother.
I mean, I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game. That was freaking awesome.
Yes.
X-Men like had a similar one. That was a lot of fun too. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not sure like what game adaptations he's saying were lame. I mean, I thought the X-Men and the TMNT ones were really cool. But that
I
was
don't
also
think that's the one he's talking about. I think it's probably pre that one. There was one on Nintendo that I was like, holy crap, a comic book game, and I hated that game.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of comic book stuff on like Super Nintendo or anything like that. Because I did play some Super Nintendo when I was at like summer camp at like the Boys and Girls Club. They had like a Super Nintendo room. And I just played a bunch of Street Fighter 2, I think.
Well, I want to thank you. Thank you so very much for coming and hanging out with us today. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you're like kind of like an icon around here. I love reading your stuff in the morning. There have been countless times where I've been, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, shit, what am I going to do tomorrow? And I'm like, I'll go bounding into comics. What's John got? I'm bounding into comics. What's John coming out with bounding into comics? And it's been an absolute treat having you here this morning. Thank you very much. I know my audience appreciates it. I appreciate it. And I would love to have you on again, or have you come on the Comic Book Roundtable one night. We have it on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you ever can make it, would absolutely love to have you on that. Clobbering Times is probably the knowest guy. I would head to head him with Gary, anyone in the comic book industry. The rumor is that Clobbering had his own comic store as well at one point. But I've never met anyone with the knowledge that Clobbering Times has, and 24 knows almost just as much. And some of us, like you, like the animation. I got into it because of the animation and watching the old Superman, the Fleischer Superman stuff, and then Batman, the animated series. And I grew up with all that. And that's kind of what got me into wanting to read comics in the first place. So the big thank you for being here and for hanging out with us. And again, I would love to have you on again at some point in time.
Yeah, I had a blast. We'll definitely have to make that happen. I don't know about the 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So I have a little one. So her bedtime starts at 7:30. So that's like right in the middle. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that one. But I would love to come back again. This was a lot of fun. Enjoyed talking with you, talking with everyone in the chat here. This is great. This was great. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, guys. We will be back later tonight with me and Adega Outlaw doing spooky stories and real life events. Adega Outlaw loves to do like real life murder mysteries. So we will be back later tonight with that. And we will kick things off on Friday morning with the very best sci-fi television series of all time with me, Purple Valkyrie, Day Bob, and Josh from and we might also have Speaker for the Dead. I don't know. He might make it. He might not. I don't know yet. But thank you all for being here. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And we will catch you guys later tonight.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.